Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Traveling Knitter podcast channel. I am Steph, and this is the first video of 2022, and it is going to be me talking about the books that I want to read in 2022 that are physically on my shelf, and there's 20 of them. That sentence structure, not so great, but it's fine. I have a big stack of books next to me that I'm going to go through. I'm going to try not to touch my hair a ton. I got curtain bangs, and I haven't had bangs since elementary school, and I don't like my hair being in my face, and it kind of keeps touching me. So here we are starting off the video talking about bangs. But anyway, yeah, I'm not doing a very good job at styling them. I still need to learn how to do that. But anyway, let's talk about the 20 books that I would like to read in 2022. Book number 1 is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. Why did I not get to this last year? Couple reasons. One, I read Red, White, and Royal Blue, and I loved it so much. I think it might be my favorite romance novel that I've ever read. Between it and The Hating Game, those two are right up there. I'm not gonna miss that when I move. So I loved Casey McQuiston's first book, and I was really, really excited. I still am really excited, but the reviews around One Last Stop are just not as strong, and I don't know. It's sapphic. It's two women falling in love, and it's set in New York City. You have August and Jane, and for whatever reason Jane can't get off the train. I don't know if that means something, or if that's literal and that she is stuck on this train and it's magic. I'm not quite sure. I feel like I've heard that there are magical elements to it. I love fantasy. Fantasy is one of my favorite things to read. Fantasy in modern day, what is that? Contemporary fantasy? That's not the right thing. Magical realism. Magical realism is not, I prefer fantasy, then general fiction, and then magical realism. I feel like I'm in the minority. So many people like magical realism. I don't enjoy it as much. I find that I want more fantasy than what I'm getting, and that I'm bored with the fantasy that I'm getting. Does that make sense? Anyway, this is, it's a pretty chunky book, and I know I'm gonna breeze through it, and I'm probably gonna like it. I don't think I'm gonna like it as much as Red, White, and Royal Blue, but I would love to actually read this book so that I could have my own opinions on it instead of the opinions that everyone else has that I then internalize. Does that make sense? Do you guys do this? I do this. This is why I don't like to read books or watch movies or TV shows that are really popular, because I like to form my own opinions and I need to have separation from them. So anytime you ask me, have you watched this movie? Have you watched this TV show? The answer is most likely going to be no, because I haven't, and I don't like to watch things when everyone else does. It's not because I think I'm too cool for it. It is literally because I would like to form my own opinion. Okay, I'm gonna have a tally somewhere on the screen here. Book 2 is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is another romance novel, and there are 3 in the series. I'm pretty sure all of them are out. There was so much hype about these books that I decided I needed to buy one of them and then read it and see if I liked it to buy the other ones. So this one follows Chloe Brown. She is chronically ill, and she has always had like a pretty safe life, and she decides that she is just going to get a life. She's going to do some things that she would normally not do, kind of like a bucket list. I don't know if she's like dying or something. I don't think it's that deep, but anyway, some of the things she wants to do is have a drunken night out, ride a motorcycle, go camping, have meaningless but thoroughly enjoyable sex, travel the world with just a carry-on, and do something bad. So she's got this list, and she decides to enlist Redford Red Morgan, who's the handyman of like the apartment that she lives in, and he rides a motorcycle. He's apparently a really sexy dude. So she's just gonna, I don't know if she like uses him or if they're friends to do the things. I don't know. I mean, the cover has them kissing, so I think it sounds really cute. Again, there's been a lot of hype around these books, so very excited to read this. Book 3 is Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys. I've had this book for a very long time. I believe this was the first Ruta Sepetys book that I have ever bought, and this has, like, it's won some awards. It's an international bestseller, a Carnegie Medal nominee, a Golden Kite Award winner, and this is YA, historical fiction, and it's about Lena in Lithuania in 1941 when her mom and her brother are arrested by the secret Soviet police, Soviet secret police? One of those phrases. And then they are shipped to Siberia. It says that they're separated from her father. I don't know if he's arrested with them or if he was previously arrested. Hard to tell from the back information, but I've heard nothing but good things about this book. And I'm not sure, and this might be where my European history knowledge is a little, but I'm wondering if this is, like, if these are the Gulag system, because I thought that was Soviet. The Soviet Union had gulags, which are like internment camps. So maybe this is the same history. I could be wrong. I'll put it down below if I'm wrong. I'll put it down below if I'm right. So yeah, this book, this was turned into a movie, but the movie changed names, and I want to say that the book also has, you can get it in a different name, and the reason being is because the title, Between Shades of Grey, is very similar to another book, 50 Shades of Grey, which became popular, and I guess I could say was published around the time of this. So 50 Shades of Grey started out as fan fiction, meaning that it existed before it was published. And yeah, so the names were too similar, this being YA historical fiction, the other one being BDSM smut. So you've got, you know, you don't want a parent accidentally buying 50 Shades of Grey when they thought they were buying this book for their 13-year-old, you know? So I think that's probably why they changed it. I don't have the facts, but I would assume that's why this got a name change, because this, you know, wasn't as successful as 50 Shades of Grey. I would love to get to this book, as with all the books on this list. 2022, I would love to really get through full authors' backlogs. So I've read, I don't know if I've read 1 or 2 of Ruta Sepetys, but I have 2 more of her books that I haven't read. I'm not sure. I have a couple of them, and I would love to get to them. And I'm excited for this. I'd also really like to watch the movie. I really didn't hear anything about the movie, so I don't know if it was good or bad, but would love to do that. Also, this is an eyelash. When I first saw this, I thought it was like pearls. No, it's an eyelash with snow. Book number 4 is The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. So again, along what I just said, I would like to read through the backlist titles of authors that I enjoy, and Colson Whitehead is one of them. I read Nickel Boys last year. Fantastic. I think it might be the best book that I read last year. It's so good. It still sits with me even though it's been 2 months, 3 months since I read it. The Underground Railroad is also a Pulitzer Prize winner. Nickel Boys, I'm pretty sure, won the Pulitzer Prize. But this is the first one that won, and this is not his first book, but I think this is like the first commercially successful book. I know quite a few people have read this, or at least have heard of this. So the Underground Railroad, and if you're not a US educated person, does that make sense? Like, you didn't go through the US education system, I don't know if you necessarily know what the Underground Railroad is, but basically it is a term for the the network of houses or locations that runaway slaves could take to get north to freedom. So the northern states, as well as all the way up to Canada. It's not a real railroad, it's just what it's called. But this book, I'm pretty sure, takes that and turns it into an actual railroad. So I'm pretty sure you're following a runaway slave who gets on this railroad. I'm pretty sure there's some magic in it. Again, magical realism, not my favorite thing, but I've heard nothing but good things about this book. And I really want to read this. Like, I recommend Colson Whitehead books, yet I've only read one of them. So I need to get on that. So I've got this one. I have his newest one, Harlem Shuffle. And then I also have another one from the library right now. And they're all, you know, they're not big chunky books, so it's not going to take very long to get through this. The fifth book that I want to get through is Laura Olympus. By Rachel Smith. This is a webtoon, and it was published, so this is volume 1, which I'm not sure how many episodes are in volume 1, but it is like a compendium. So I believe volume 2 is coming out I think it's coming out soon, because these are already available online. So it's just a bind up, and the art style is just really pretty. I mean, the cover alone is beautiful. And this is a reimagining of Hades and Persephone, but set in like modern times, probably like New York City or something. Okay, so it says volume contains episodes 1 through 25. It looks beautiful. I saw it, like, I haven't read this before, and I saw it, fell in love with it, and put it on my Christmas list, and I got it. And yeah, so you can get it in hardback, or you can pick this up in paperback, or just read it online, whatever you want. But I just thought the art was so pretty, and it looks like something that I would enjoy reading more than once. The next book is A Deadly Education, Lesson 1 of the Scholomance by Naomi Novik. I have a special edition Illuminate crate, which is very pretty. I love special edition books. They're gorgeous. I think this one's also signed, or is it not signed? Okay, it does have like a letter, but it's not like, what am I trying to say? The signature isn't real, it's like a printed signature. Anyway, so this is a new series that Naomi Novik is starting, and it's about a magical school, but it's more of a deadly, not like Hogwarts. So you, like, I don't know how you go to the school. I don't know how you get into the school, but somehow you get in. But there's no teachers, there are no holidays, you don't make friends for friendship, and you will probably die. The only way to graduate from school is the only way to get out of the school is to either graduate or die. So it seems really dark. The second book just came out, and I did pick that up in the Barnes & Noble 50% off sale. Minor annoyance, the books are not the same size. So this one is like an inch taller than the second book, but it's fine. It's fine. Minor annoyance. The next book is Tess of the Robe by Rachel Hartman. And if you had watched the books I want to read in 2021, this guy was on that list. Hear me out. The second Tess of the Robe book was announced and is done. There's a publication date. I follow Rachel Hartman on Twitter, and the book is done, and I don't know if it's already printed or what all that is, but basically it's coming out pretty soon. I want to say like in the spring. So I figured I could just hold off on this and read it closer to book 2's publication date, and that just sounds good to me. So Tess of the Robe is set in the same world as Seraphina and the second book, Shadow Scale. It's in Gorid. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but it's a medieval fantasy setting, very like typical fantasy setting. And Tess, you don't meet her in the original duology, so she's kind of a new character, but Tess, again, is like the quintessential fantasy novel heroine. So I don't know if she runs away, but basically her family wants her to probably marry somebody she doesn't want to marry, so she runs away and decides to go off on an adventure to find herself. I mean, it's pretty standard fantasy synopsis, but I'm here for it because I loved Seraphina. Also, the cover is just gorgeous. Oh, and there's dragons. Next up is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This is a Pulitzer, a Prince honor book. This is a trilogy. The other two are right up there. And this is, it's YA fantasy. This is about humans can't die. We've like eradicated disease. So you don't really die of natural causes. And to die, a scythe will come to kill you. So, like the Grim Reaper comes. And this is about two scythes in training. Personally, I don't need to know more. I think that sounds fantastic. This is a long time coming. Percy Jackson, The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. I've never read a Rick Riordan book. I know. Someone who loves fantasy has never read a Rick Riordan book, and there are so many of them. But hear me out. I loved Harry Potter, like, a lot. I still do. I just don't talk about Harry Potter that much on my channel. I don't have my Harry Potter stuff out because I'm just disappointed with J.K. Rowling, and yeah. So, obsessed with Harry Potter. Percy Jackson came out while I was in high school, and at that point it was like very clearly a middle grade book, and it felt childish to read Percy Jackson when I was in high school. I never really got to it, and I always thought, I bought these books when the cover redos and they have all the spines that make a picture came out. I bought these with the intention of reading them. And this is why I haven't read any other Rick Riordan books or any of the Rick Riordan Presents, because I haven't read what I deem like the original, the starter of it all. This book, this series. I want to change that. 2022, I want to change that because I just feel like I'm going to love these. I would probably have liked these better when I was younger, but I can appreciate middle grade. So I'm pretty excited to read these, to get into this world and then just open the vast amount of books that Rick Riordan has that he wrote as well as he champions. So, if you don't know what Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief is about, I don't know a ton about it either, other than it is Greek mythology, and Percy Jackson, I think he's human, and he's like on a quest to find Zeus's lightning bolt that has been stolen, and I think he's being blamed for it, and it's like gods come down to earth and are fighting and all that jazz. There is a movie, I heard that it was awful, and so I might watch it just for shits and giggles. I've now seen the Aragon movie twice. First time we thought it was going to be good. It was awful. The second time we watched it for Christmas because it is awful and we wanted to relive how awful it was. The next book is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I love V.E. Schwab. Big fan. Love the A Darker Shade of Magic trilogy. And this is one, I think this is her newest release. It came out kind of at the beginning of last year, right? Or was it in the summer? Or was it in 2020? Shoot, when did this, time is like meaningless. When did this come out? 2020. Okay, so this came out in 2020 at some point. Maybe it was in the summer of 2020. Whatever. This is also a special edition Illuma crate, and it is signed. It's so pretty. This has also made its rounds. I feel like this is a super popular book. This is about Addie LaRue, who makes a deal with maybe the devil. She makes a deal with somebody to live forever. But with this, there is a caveat that no one will remember you. And so this starts in 1714, and then 300 years later, she is in, I think, a bookstore. I like to think she was in a bookstore. And somebody remembers her, and it throws her off, and I'm sure she falls in love with him and all that, but that's all I really need to know about it, and that everyone loved it. Next book, All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I've had this book since it came out. Also has won several awards, National Book Award finalist, 10 best books on the book review in 2014, and Anthony Doerr's newest novel, The Cloud Cuckoo Lane, just came out, and I did buy it. It's up there. It's what I was looking for. And I need to read like the acclaimed one. My friends have read it and really liked it. And this is, I think it's a World War II novel, and it is about, Nazi occupied Paris, and Marie Laure is blind. And so her dad builds a tiny model of her, like, of all of Paris or just her area, so that she can, figure out where she is when she goes about the city. And then there is another character, Vanna, and I don't know what he does. He's in the Hitler Youth, but I don't know if he wants to be. I don't know. The characters meet. Really, I'm interested in a blind girl. That's what I'm interested in. These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I have this on the list because the second book came out, and I've heard that the second book is fantastic. So I would love to read this. It is a duology, and it is like a Romeo and Juliet inspired story set in Shanghai. That's all I need to know. Yeah, I'm giving you like 1-2 sentence synopses and then just a bunch of I'm so excited, blah, 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 blahs. But really, that's how I go into books. So would love to read this book and then get to the second one. Who knows? Will that happen? I don't know. This is just a list of wishes. Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. We are finally here, guys. I read the trilogy. I read the novelettes. I am ready to move on to the duology. I love that the like normal standard duologies are sprayed edges. I love that. I'm ready. Once I read this, as I've said so many times, I will be watching the TV show and I can't wait. And I will definitely be moving on through the series. I really want to do a better job this year in reading through the series, because last year I only read 3 of them. Like, I really did think I was gonna get through more, but so Six of Crows is in the Graciaverse, which is where Shadow of Bone, is it just called Shadow of Bone? Shadow and Bone is set. But this follows completely different characters, and it's very much like a heist novel in that they're trying to steal something. In the TV show, I think these characters meet up. In the books, I'm pretty sure they don't, but we'll find out. And I do have a reread, A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I read Court of Thorns and Roses again the week of Thanksgiving. I think it was Thanksgiving. Yeah. And it was just so good. And I'm very much looking forward to this one because this was my favorite of the trilogy. And yeah. Also, I have memories of reading this book. The first time I read it, it was while on vacation to Charleston in 2016, maybe? It was a while ago. Gosh, am I throwing out a date of, oh, it came out in 2016, so it would have been 2016 going to Charleston. Yeah, I love it. I love it. So if you don't know what A Court of Thorns and Roses is, which is the first one, it is like a Beauty and the Beast-esque retelling, and it follows Feyre, who she kills a wolf, and then as punishment is taken to the Fairylands, and there she realizes that there's a curse that is placed upon the Spring Court, which is where she is living, and she basically goes to break it. Now there's a lot more involved in that, and in this one it's leaning towards a Hades and Persephone inspiration, and it's like a complete 180 from this book to this book, from the first to the second. If you didn't really like the first one, give the second one a shot because it's crazy. Another book I want to read is The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reed. Look at those fancy edges. And look at that. This is another special edition Illumicrate. I decided to stop the special edition Illumicrate boxes because it was just getting way too expensive, and it's more economical to get the box because you're getting things, but a lot of it is just like, one, almost every box had something broken in it. That was kind of annoying that I was constantly having to talk to customer support, and you know, they would say that they would send a replacement, but I didn't always get the replacements, so it just got too much work. And again, very expensive, right? Like the book plus shipping would be like $30 to $40. Like that's a lot of money for just a book that you don't even know what it is. So you're taking a gamble. But anyway, I literally have no idea what this book is about. I want to say that it's like Little Red Riding Hood, but I could be wrong. It is blurbed by so many authors. Literally the back is just blurbs from authors. So you've got Samantha Shannon, who is The Mime Order and Priory of the Orange Tree. You have S.A. Chakraborty, who is City of Brass, Alex E. Harrow, who is 10,000 Doors of January. She's got 2 other books. Catherine Addison, who's the Goblin Emperor. And then on the inside, it's saying that it's perfect for fans of Naomi Novik and Catherine Arden, both of which I'm fans of, and I have their books on my shelf. So it says it's a dark, evocative, unforgettable fantasy debut steeped in Hungarian history and Jewish mythology. I'm interested because I don't think I've read any sort of Hungarian historical novel. Okay, so I've just read the inside flap. This sounds fantastic. It's not Little Red Riding Hood. We follow Evike, and she lives in this forest village, but she's the only one without magical powers. And when soldiers arrive to claim a girl for the blood sacrifice, she is basically forced, like, you're it. Probably because she doesn't have magic. So then on the way to the capital, monsters attack their clan caravan, and only Evike and the Woodsman, the captain, are spared. And she finds out that the captain is actually the disgraced prince who's trying to seize the throne. So they form a pact to stop her brother from the ethnic cleansing and probably this blood sacrifice that he wants to do. That sounds pretty good. I'm interested. Cover is gorgeous. Again, not Little Red Riding Hood. Next up, we have The House on the Cerulean Sea. This is, I think this has been blurbed a lot too. This is by TJ Klune. Linus is a caseworker in the department in charge of magical youth. He's given an assignment to go to this orphanage and to check up on the children and the caretakers. And this orphanage is specifically for like really dangerous magical children. And when he gets there, I guess he falls in love with the caretaker, who's Arthur, and I'm assuming he falls in love with the kids, and I've just heard that it's really cute. And I really want to get to this so that I can accurately recommend it to people. Also, TJ Klune's newest book, The Wind, what is it called? The Whispering Door. Under the Whispering Door came out recently, and I keep buying books to add, and I haven't even read the first one. Next up is Foundry Side by Robert Jackson Bennett. Again, I've heard great things about this book. I believe the 3rd one comes out this year, and so it's about time that I get on it. Also, my childhood favorite author, Tamara Pierce, blurbed this, so I need it. I need it. I absolutely need it. This is the magical world in this. I think it's another heist novel, and our main character, Sansia, she has this magical ability to be able to reprogram things. So I guess she can touch a chair, figure out what's telling the chair to be a chair, and then tell it to be a couch or something. So the magical element of this is very interesting. And yeah, do I really need another reason to read this? I have a book in translation that I want to get to. This is A Winter's Promise by Christelle Dabos. And I do own all of the books, so I can just jump right in and marathon. I don't marathon books, but I could if I wanted to. The setting of this book is these floating islands, and Ophelia, her family sends her to one of the neighboring towers to get married, and I have a feeling she doesn't want to be married to this person. I want to add more works in translation into the list of books that I read. I did a pretty good job last year, but I need to make an even more concerted effort. And yeah, here's a French one. All right, almost done. She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. Look at this beautiful book. I am so excited to read this book. I almost bought this, but then had a suspicion that the Illumicrate book was going to be this, so I didn't pick it up. I'm glad I didn't because, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. I love this a lot. Again, is this blurbed by people? This book is about, or it's set in 1345 China under Mongol rule. The Zhou family has a daughter, and they also have the 8th born son, and he's going to go to a monastery, but really the daughter, what is she going to do? And a bandit attack occurs where Zhu Chongba, her brother, is killed, and so the daughter, she decides to take his place. And literally her name is not stated on the cover flap, and I'm wondering if that is done on purpose and so that we don't know her name. I'm not sure, but my friend read it, she loved it, she gave it 5 stars, which is high praise because she does not give out her 5 stars very easily. I'm really looking forward to this. And the last book, that should be 20, is Quendel by Carolyn Rohnfeld. This is a German book, and it is fantasy. I really don't know what it's about, but I failed miserably in my You Will Read a German Book. So I'm trying again, and this is the German book that I will be reading. It's pretty chunky, but it looks great. It's got a map. I don't know. What else can I say? Because I haven't read the synopsis, and it's going to take me more than 5 minutes to do that, and I have a meeting in 5 minutes. So this is it. Those are all the books that I would like to read in 2022. Obviously, I want to read more than just that, but those are the books that I'm going to make a concerted effort to read from my bookshelf. If you have a list, let me know. Put it down below. Send me to a video that you uploaded. I'm so interested. I love book lists, and I hope your start to 2022 is going well, and I hope you also have some reading goals. If you have any questions or any other books that you want to talk about, let me know down below or in any of the social medias that I would have shared at the beginning of the episode. Thanks, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.